Hi everyone and welcome to another review. Today we're looking at the new book from the lovely Johanna Basford. It's called Small Victories and it is a smaller size, shape and format than any of her previous books. So as it says here on the front cover, it is a colouring book of little wins and miniature masterpieces. So Johanna did have a miniatures book, I think for Enchanted Forest and Secret Garden, but those images were really tiny. I think they were scaled down to fit the book, whereas this time around Johanna has started this project by drawing all of the images on the exact size that they're meant to be coloured on. So none of these have been scaled down to fit inside a page, they have been drawn on the page, so that will make it a lot easier for you than the miniature books to fill in all of those spaces. So the book itself, I will show you how big it is, or rather how small it is compared to one of Johanna's previous books. I've got the Secret Garden Anniversary Edition here, and if we just put Small Victories on top, you can see how small this is. So it's pretty much the same size as your hand, and it will definitely be easier to transport if you're wanting to go abroad or go on holiday, or just take it in your bag to the doctors while you're waiting, anything really. It's just a very compact and portable format. So on the cover we have got some lovely gold foiling, as we've come to expect with Johanna's books. Really pretty, but very minimal as well, I think, and very clean looking. And then on the back we've got a bit of a blurb. It says, pocket-sized colouring for little moments of calm. We don't always have a whole afternoon or even an hour to dedicate to our creative practice. Small Victories is the perfect book for when you want to pick up a pencil and complete a colouring page in a single sitting. Choose from pages of multiple individual drawings, selecting a few to colour, or little vignettes and smaller motifs that are easier to complete in a single colouring session, all featuring Johanna Basford's trademark whimsical illustrations. So it's everything that we know and love about Johanna. It is perfectly her style, and it's just in a smaller format, which I think a lot of people are going to appreciate. Also, obviously, the images are designed to be able to be coloured quite quickly. So if you are somebody that finds a large colouring page with a lot of detail quite daunting, I think you'll love this book. So we do have a guide to exploring small victories. It says, flip through the book and find a page that brings you joy. You might colour one small bloom, a little mushroom fairy house, or a full page pattern. Just do as much or as little as feels right today. So Johanna's talking about that she prefers coloured pencils to pens because you can blend and layer, and they're not going to bleed through the other side of the paper. But there is a colour palette test page in this book that you can test things on before you colour. And I think it's everything we know really. Put a blank sheet of paper beneath the page you're working on to catch any ink transfer. And then of course you can share it with hashtag Small Victories and on her colouring gallery on the website. So we have the initial page, the title page, which of course has lots of little things to colour. And then we have the copyright information and an introduction. So I'll quickly read the intro. Welcome to the world of Small Victories, a place where good things really do come in small packages. Over the last 10 years of making colouring books, my life has changed a lot. I seem to be busier, with less time for self-care, but more in need of it than ever. And so the idea for Small Victories came about. This pocket-sized book contains little illustrations or single compositions that can be coloured in one sitting. Whether you've 10 minutes or half an hour, this book invites you to pick up your coloured pencils and complete a miniature masterpiece. So my friends, flip through the pages and find an inky drawing that charms you, and of course have fun. Much love, Johanna. So we will begin the book. Now, actually, we will talk about this binding. So you can see here that there's a little bit of a crease, and it's not actually the centre of the book. This crease is how the book arrived. So I don't know whether you can see down here, the binding actually encapsulates the first sort of centimetre of the book, and it is quite tight. So what I did was I took the back cover and the front cover and flattened it out as much as possible. And then I took a few pages from the back and the front and flattened those out as much as possible. And I did it until I got to the centre of the book. And that really helped to loosen the tight binding of the book, and now it does lay flat. So that is something that you'll want to do, because it does seem to sort of pin back on you a bit when you first get it. Very tight. So let's have a look at the illustrations. Okay. I think this book it's almost like a best of or a greatest hits of her other books, but with everything being brand new. What I mean is there's a lot of influence from Lost Ocean, Enchanted Forest, 30 Days of Creativity. There's a lot of these little things, these little vignettes that you will have seen, particularly in the more recent books like the Rooms of Wonder. And then there are obviously underwater pieces that are reminiscent of Lost Ocean. And it just feels like a celebration of Johanna's 10 years of colouring in the colouring book world so far. So we first have a mirrored image here of what looks like a moth or a butterfly, and lots of pattern around there, little mushrooms to colour, and lots of leaves, of course. Then we have 6 spherical motifs, each featuring a cute little animal or a flower or some sort of nature influence. We've got a little cute frog on some lily pads, and we have butterflies and toadstools and these little sort of like snowdrops. So you could do these maybe in different colours for seasons, or you could do anything you want with them. They're so versatile, and of course very quick. It's very quick to colour one of these. So it's not like a colouring page that's going to take hours upon hours and days to complete, which I think is great, because as Johanna said, we all need to carve out a bit of time for ourselves and our self-care, and this book enables you to do that. So here we've got a selection of vehicles. There's 8 on this page. Now, just looking at the detail of the illustrations, because of them being obviously quite small and on a smaller format book, you can see that there is still plenty of space to colour. You don't necessarily need fine liners for this, which you would have done in the miniature Secret Garden Enchanted Forest books. These have been obviously scaled really, really well to fit this paper, and Johanna's really kept that in mind so that you're not struggling with impossibly small gaps. So I love this. We've got ice cream vans, balloon trucks. This one's carrying an octopus in a tank, and a little sweet van. So yeah, just really, really cute. We've got a embellished butterfly with lots of floral details, but a blank background. So it's totally up to you if you want to tackle that background or leave it blank, or just do something incredible with pastels. There's a lot of things you could do with this background. You could even draw more butterflies. So this one is very reminiscent of the Worlds of Wonder colouring book. You can see that we've got this oddly shaped crooked house sat on top of this mushroom, and it's either going to be a giant mushroom or a really, really teeny tiny house, which I think it will be. Again, just lots of imagination and whimsical, lots of whimsy in this book. So we've got 6 houses here, all of different types, different architecture, lots of different types of roofs and little details that you might not see on first glance, like this tiny little extension, kind of like you can imagine that being a book nook where you'd go and read, that was just built onto the window and you're sort of floating over the garden, really quiet and peaceful. We've got another couple of spherical motifs. These are quite simple ones. Again, won't take very long to do, but you can make them as intricate and complicated as you wish. You can add in backgrounds to the motif. You can make this part of a larger design. And then this is really cute, and I don't think we've seen dinosaurs in Johanna's previous books. I don't think so. And this is what I want to see more of from Johanna, if possible, is to see her sort of breaking out of her comfort zone a bit and doing these totally different themes in her books. Because we all know and love her style of leaves and flowers, and she does an incredible job. I don't know if there's anyone better at floral designs than Johanna, but it is nice to see something different, and these dinosaurs are brilliant. As you can see, they are still covered in leaves and foliage, but yeah, I can imagine colouring these in different palettes, or even colouring them all in the same palette and then letting that be really cohesive, and you could do whatever you want with it. So here is, this looks like another mirrored image from side to side. And again, very reminiscent of Lost Ocean, because of course we've got fish and seaweed and underwater themes. So there are little fish, and what else do we have? We've got lots of flotsam and jetsam and bits of seaweed. And yeah, so that, I think that even though it's larger and it'll probably take longer to do, it's still going to be quite simple and quite easy because it's a mirrored image. So you could even do different colours on each side of the mirror, hot and cold, light and dark, whatever you want. And obviously some fish here, floral fish, just swimming around. You could probably make this a double page spread somehow if you've got the imagination, you know, to make this into one whole piece. But otherwise, these are quite large fish, so you're not going to have any problems again with blending in the petals. The paper, by the way, is, I believe, 160 grams. And what's really great about this is that the UK and the US editions were both printed in the same factory. So it's got the same paper, the same binding, and the same sizing for everything. And this is a sewn bound book. So I know that there were a lot of people that were quite frustrated with the US editions because they were glue bound, and sometimes it was harder to break the spine and they would fall apart a little bit or come loose, and it just wasn't as quality, I guess, as the sewn binding. But all of the books will be sewn bound. So that's a really, really good improvement, and we'll all have the same paper and it will all be exactly the same wherever you buy it. I should note that I've seen quite a few people have some printing errors in their books, but I think this has been sorted now. I saw a review of a lady that got a book, and it was really, it was like it'd been double printed and sort of blurry. So if you've got one of those books, please do contact the retailer, contact the publisher, Johanna. They will all help you out. They don't want, obviously, anyone to have anything less than perfect books. So don't worry about that if you have received one of those copies. It's obviously just something that can happen from time to time, and it will be rectified. Back to the illustrations. So we've got 4 more houses here, sort of on a vertical houses. They're very thin and narrow. And then here we've got loads and loads of different florals to colour. Also a ladybird and a butterfly. I think this really reminds me of the 30 Days of Creativity, and when Johanna was giving everyone a different flower to colour every day for a month. So yeah, again, very, very quick and simple, 5-10 minutes just to do a little bit of colouring. And yeah, again, there's so many things that you could do with this. Even though they're just little tiny emblems of flowers, you could create a whole garden. You could fill in the gaps with more flowers and make it into something even bigger than what it is. So again, Worlds of Wonder influences here. We've got little floating islands. So what do we have? This is a nighttime scene with a castle turret. We've got a summer scene with a palm tree. And what else? We've got a lighthouse here with a ship just making port. And cute little lantern, obviously for a little bit of light source practice. And then we have 3 houseboats, which I absolutely adore. I did live on a houseboat for a very short period of time. So I love anything to do with barges and narrowboats and things. But these are really, really nice. Can you imagine these in real life? They'd be incredible. So I'm really looking forward to colouring that. This is kind of like a cargo ship though, I think, rather than a houseboat. It's got all these little lanterns, and I'm just really excited to see how people make these very simple, small snapshot illustrations into something bigger. You know, I don't know if I'm as imaginative to do that, but I know that someone's going to do something incredible. So we've got some floral motifs here as well. And on this side, we have some moths and butterflies, bugs. So this is really reminding me of, I think it was Secret Garden that had all the bugs on the page. And I coloured them in gemstones. So yeah, really, really cute. Again, lots of space inside the actual lines for blending. So some spherical motifs here, and I absolutely adore this page in particular. You can see we've got a snail, and its shell isn't even a proper shell. It's made up of a cluster of beautiful sort of exotic looking flowers. And then here at the bottom we have a bee, which I'm a massive, massive lover of bees. And I love how the wings are made from the florals as well. I believe this is a mirrored image. It looks like it might be. We've got some fronds, we've got some acorns and lots of toadstools, very cottagecore. Apples, I think these are, around the edge. Oak leaves and more acorns. So this is a definite fall autumn period colouring page that you could just fill with beautiful burnt oranges and ochres. It will look incredible. This one really reminds me of Enchanted Forest because, of course, we had the rabbit and the fox from that book. And these are different, obviously. They've not just been stolen from that book and scaled down. They are brand new images, as is everything in this book. But again, it just really harks back to the Enchanted Forest era of Johanna's work. And everything is all very fall, very foresty. And I just love these two pages. So we have some cakes and sweet treats on this page. I should say not just sweet treats. We've got a lovely juicy hamburger. What else do we have? Donuts and lots of cakes, ice cream. We've got, this is spaghetti, right? I think this is spaghetti and ravioli and different maybe types of pasta. So we've got, it's just all comfort food, isn't it? Ice cream sundaes, lots and lots of icing and dripping beautiful. I'm hungry now. And I definitely shouldn't be eating cake. Right, so this one, I'm pretty sure I've seen something similar to this and I can't remember which book it was in, but I recognise the pencils. It might have been 30 Days of Creativity, but I recognise pencils and flowers put together. I just can't seem to think where from. But this is, again, another sort of larger scale image that you would take a bit more time on than something like this little sundae. These are cute, little bundles of flowers. You can just imagine going through a meadow and just picking a few different florals as you go through and tying them up with a bit of twine and creating your own wildflower bouquet. And then we have some more flowers on this page, very similar to the previous page that had lots of flowers and things on it. But these this time have a sphere around them, so they are contained a little bit better. You could make these into like a top-down view, a bird's eye view of plant pots and these little plants growing out of them. But yeah, again, all designed to be little wins. These are not elaborate, epic pieces that are going to take forever to finish. These are designed to be tiny and quick. So again, Worlds of Wonder reminiscent here with all of the tree houses, literally a tree with house on it or a castle. And I quite like the little pots. These remind me of bonsai trees. They're quite twisted and gnarly and, you know, different style to a normal tree. So you can just imagine how tiny this castle would be if it sat upon a bonsai tree. What is on this page? Wow, okay. So these are different shelves and I think they have different themes. Let me go through them. So this one kind of looks like a children's toy shelf, or even maybe slightly circus themed. I can imagine this in circus colours for some reason. Same as this one as well. This has a circus theme to it. We've got a spinning top, we have some balloons and some paintbrushes, and then of course the big top. And here this has more of an Arabian Nights theme to it because you've got the big snow globe outside the house with the beautiful building inside. And then here we've got a Russian doll, so cute, a little hand-woven rug on the wall. And this one has a rainbow, and this one has a, what are these? I always forget what these are called, hot air balloons. There you go. Yeah, super cute. This one is very reminiscent of Johanna's Christmas. We have the robin sat inside the globe, and I think this one will be particularly nice when it's coloured. I can see a lot of people doing a lot of different things with this because you've obviously got the frame that you can do in gold, you know, gold paint or what have you. And you can also make it very Christmassy, very festive, wintry with maybe like a red, green and snowy colour palette. We've got a couple of hearts here. I think these are mirrored and these are mirrored as well, I believe. Yeah, I think they're the same. So again, up to you what you want to do with this. This would be quite a nice little Valentine's colouring page to do, wouldn't it? Now this is larger scale florals, so reminds me a bit of Magical Jungle, Secret Garden as well, but Magical Jungle in that there are a lot of large petals for you to practice blends on, because obviously something like this you're not going to get much of a blend at all, but these are large in format and they enable you to practice your blends and just get a lot of colour down on the page despite it being small. Conversely, we have some really teeny tiny little details here. So we've got flowers, we've got hearts and star shapes and diamonds. We've got autumn leaves, underwater foliage, little tiny cute posies, and some tulips look like here. Again, very small spherical designs. But I still don't think you'd need fine liners, to be honest. I think just sharp pencils would do, definitely for this one. You'd have to keep your pencils really sharp. But again, they have been designed to fit this size of book. So now we have jars. Jars. This is a big theme that's coming out in colouring books at the moment. I've noticed when I look on Amazon, there are a lot of little worlds inside jars. I don't know, where that theme has come from, but it's really cute. So we've got what is looks like a little cabin that stood on stilts in the water here. Maybe it's the night watchman of the harbour. This looks a very oriental themed building, and then again with the Arabian Nights theme. I love all of this style of architecture. And this one is just a simple little house with a cute iron, is it iron that they would use, little iron chimney. It's kind of got castle doors on it as well. It's almost like a miniature one-person castle. And then this side is underwater, so we have fish, lots of little tiny fish and big fish, and lots of seaweed, lots and lots of this flotsam and jetsam at the bottom, coral and things like that. I really like how it's contained in this border as well. It's rectangular, but it's a soft rectangle. It's got curved edges and it's made of, little pebbles that you might find on the seafloor. Here's a page for cupcakes. So what kind of different cupcakes do we have here? We've got sprinkle cakes, we've got cakes with fruit in them, so a little raspberry, maybe some blueberries, orange slices or lemon, little star confetti, and we've got an apple on this one. This must be a pretty big cake or a really tiny apple. Yeah, lovely. Again, very small, very quick to do. And then this tea kettle and spoon and the 2 teacups, which I absolutely adore. I know that there are cups and spoons that you can get that are encrusted with metal floral designs, and that really reminds me of that. So I think this is really going to be cute to colour as well. Now here's the one that I've coloured. I've got a little bit of layout paper between so I don't transfer anything. I'll just tilt it up for you a little bit because I know the glare hits it. But I coloured this with polychromos pencils. So I don't know what it is, but whenever I get a new Johanna book, even though I'm a massive Prismacolor girl, I go straight for the polychromos. I think it's the quality of the paper and that I know polychromos are going to work just like butter on this paper. And of course, they're stronger, lead-wise, so you can put them into a better point than a Prismacolor, which is really handy for this book in particular, with it having smaller details. So yes, it was polychromos pencils entirely, and then for the background I did this black stripe down the centre and left some of the details of the illustration overhanging, so it kind of looks like it's been laid on top, just because I thought it looked like it was an illustration that was just floating on the page and there was nothing going on in the background, and I quite like the idea of just putting a little bit of something just to I don't know, just to elevate it really. But I got this idea from the lovely Suzanne Berry on here on YouTube, and she did this with one of the designs that's further down the book. It's the big ice cream sundae, and she put a black stripe down the back, and I thought it was amazing how it, just something so simple as a black stripe, even not a full black background, but just the stripe really made the actual image pop. So thank you, Suzanne, for that idea. And I wasn't sure what to do colour-wise on this. I was going through quite a few different colour combinations, and I thought what I would do, because it's the first page of the book and I really wanted to make it, I didn't just want to dive into it without thinking. I wanted to make something good out of it. So I went onto my iPad, loaded up Procreate, and took a picture of this page when it was completely blank. Well, not blank, when it was a bare illustration. And as you'll see on the inset video, I was just trying out different colour combos. And once I was happy with the combinations, I put them down the side and then started to fill in all the different spots on the illustration where I wanted to place the colours and the blends. And that really helped me sort of set a foundation for this page and think about where everything was going to go. It's like preparing for something makes the actual job much easier than having no preparation. So me spending an hour just fiddling about with colours, it made the actual process of colouring this with pencils a lot faster, a lot easier, and it took the pressure off me because I knew already what I needed to do and what colour pencils I needed. So yeah, that is it. I don't do it all the time by any means, but it's just something that helps me sometimes when I'm in a bit of a conundrum about what colours and what placements and things to do on the page. So I hope you like that. These are two very cute ducks. Again, one of my favourite things from this book are these ducks, along with the dinosaurs and a few other different things that we haven't really seen Johanna draw before, especially not on this size. You know, we might have seen her do a duck here and there, but I love, again, how she embellishes everything with beautiful florals. I think Johanna could take a dustbin and just put some flowers on it and it would look amazing. In fact, maybe you should do that in your next book, Johanna. Let's think of an idea for a book. She could do ugly objects made beautiful. How about that for a book idea? So just random boring objects and just making them look incredible with her style. I think that's a really good idea for your next video, Johanna, if you're watching. Yeah, so absolutely love this. I think Emily Illustrator has started on one of these ducks and it's looking incredible already. Speaking of Suzanne and Emily, and also Barbara Colour as well from Belgium, we are having a live stream on the 18th of November. It is at 10 a.m. CST, which is Central Standard Time in America, and at 4 p.m. UK time and 5 p.m. Belgium time. So that's on November the 18th. It's on Emily Illustrator's channel, and I'll leave a link below where you can click on there and click the notify button so that you will get notified when we're just about to go live and you won't miss it. So it's going to be all four of us colouring something from Small Victories. I'm not sure what we're doing yet. We haven't got that far in talks, but we will all be on live and it will be really fun. It's the first time that I've done a live with anybody, I think. I've done lives myself, but I've never done them as a collaboration or together with anyone else. So I am a little bit nervous because you know what I'm like anxiety on legs. And yeah, sometimes I lose my words and things, but Emily and Suzanne and Barbara are all so lovely. I know they'll look after me and they're really chatty as well. So luckily they can fill in the gaps when I forget what I want to say or can't think of what to say. But hopefully it will be really fun and you'll all enjoy it. So I do hope that you join us. Okay, back to the book. So we've got lots of little toadstool themed vignettes here, 4, 8, 12, 16 different images. Look at this washing line between the toadstools with the little dress and trousers hanging on it. That's so cute. What else? Lots of twisty mushrooms. Look at this. This is a snail with some toadstools growing out of its shell, just hitching on for a free ride. And then again, here we are with the Worlds of Wonder influence, the floating island with all of these buildings just clustered onto it. Would love to live somewhere like on an island with no neighbours, wouldn't you? And then we have, I believe, a mirror design. I think it is. Yeah, I think it is a mirror design. So again, something bigger for you to do if you've got a bit more time. If you've got a couple of hours to spare and you want to get stuck into something that's a little bit more detailed, you do something like this. Obviously, if you don't have enough time, you'd probably do a little mushroom on the other page. These are like ribbons or banners. And where did I see these in Johanna's previous books? Or something similar. There might have been one in all of the books really, but something very ribbon-like, with lots of obviously floral details on it. But I can imagine these looking great with some gold gel pen or silver or gold paint, looking like, you know, like pieces of ironwork or metalwork. I think these would look incredible with a metallic colour palette. We've got a heart. I think in most of Johanna's books we find a heart. Again, great for Valentine's, and this one has lots and lots of little flowers. I love these flowers that she draws. They look like little bells, just beautiful. And the same again here for the spheres. So we had some spheres earlier on, didn't we? Just want to try and compare them if I can and see the differences. Here are the other spheres. So these ones are obviously on a larger format, lots of blending room. These ones are slightly smaller, so we can fit 4 on a page. Lots of versatility depending on how much time you've got to colour. Now we've got some little houses. Very cottagecore again. This one really reminds me of a toy that I used to have as a child, and I think a lot of late 80s, early 90s kids had this. It was like a big teapot that would open up and it was a house inside. Lots and lots of memories there, lots of nostalgia. And here we go again with something different that Johanna has not done before. We've got some sausage dogs. And I believe that this was inspired by one of Johanna's friends who has 2 sausage dogs, but that wouldn't look quite right maybe on this size and format of paper. So Johanna added a 3rd, and look how cute. So it really reminds me of like the dinosaurs and the ducks as well. They're facing in different directions. But yeah, very cute. I think a lot of people, I don't know who doesn't love a sausage dog, to be honest. I think I'd be questioning, you know, why would you not love a sausage dog or any dog? I'm a big dog lover, but anyway, this one's even got a bone. How cute. Love, love, love. Then we've got some boats. Trying to think which one this reminds me of the most. It might be 30 Days of Creativity. Yeah, or How to Draw Inky Wonderlands, I think, was when we first learned how to draw boats in Johanna's style. So yeah, we've got 6 boats there to colour. Again, lots and lots of room. Even in the smallest spaces, you will not necessarily need fine liners. Then we've got a perfume bottle, and this has a gorgeous lighthouse design, obviously with the light shining from the top. I'm interested to see how people colour this and how you tackle the light source inside of a glass bottle, and, you know, the glow on the outside of the bottle, maybe a bit of a vignette around it, so like a black shadow creeping in at the edges. Here's another boat on lots of waves and splish splash. I love this. I love how these vines are hanging down as well. Beautiful. And we've got some more buildings. We've got lots of rainbows. Look at this hanging basket. Absolutely love it. Couple of little birds. So again, could do these in winter wonderland colours. And maybe you could do, like, draw in some snow. Very simple, very basic. And have them just sat on the snow. We've got feathers. Trying to think if I've seen many feathers in Johanna's books. I don't think so. Not on their own anyway, but lots and lots of different patterns here. So interested again to see how people tackle this with all the different patterns. This is a peacock feather. I think both of these are. Don't know if anybody recognises any of these feathers off specific birds other than the peacock, or whether they are simply Johanna's imagination. Now then, we have a space-themed page. So whenever Johanna asks people for ideas of, you know, what would you like to see? Or if people just unsolicited say, why don't you do this book and why don't you do that book? It's usually a space-themed book or a Halloween book. Now, we all know that Johanna will never, ever do a Halloween book, much to my sadness, because, you know, I love anything Halloween, gothic, scary, spooky. And also space, she was quite reluctant about, because there's a lot of black in space. As we know, it's all darkness, isn't it? So she has put a challenge out there and put down the gauntlet for people to tag her in their colouring of this page that doesn't feature any black. She wants to see if it can be done, if you can make a space-themed page that doesn't have any darkness, any black, and see if it still looks good. And then maybe she might consider in the future doing a bit of space in her books. Fingers crossed. I would love to see her do something, like I said earlier, completely different to what she's done before. We all love the flowers, we all love the leaves, the little floating islands and everything else. But I feel like, I don't know what, but like, again, with the whole boring items turned beautiful, like, I think I just want to see something out of this world from Johanna that's like completely different to anything she's ever done before. But it's easier said than done, obviously. I'm sat here saying it. She's got to think of it and draw it. So I don't envy her. Right then. So we've got a rainbow castle. We've got a cute little house with a teeny tiny mailbox and another mushroom building. And then we have some balloons holding this floating key. I wonder what that key unlocks. Could it be the castle? These are really, really cute. I don't know what it is about these. I think it's the shape and the fact that there are like 2 of them on a row. I don't know. I can't explain what it is that I like about these. I like the shape that they're contained in. It's not your normal circle. I don't know. I can't tell you any more than that. I just like it. I know that Emily Illustrator has coloured this cute little froggy. So if you want to go over and have a look at hers. And we've got, what other animals do we have then? We have an owl, a hedgehog, a rabbit, a bird, a squirrel, a frog, a fox and a butterfly. I think this might be something that I decide to colour next, one of these. Maybe it would be a good idea for me to do a live stream colour on my own, colouring one of these. What do you think? I'd love to know what you guys want to see from me, and obviously I'll accommodate it if I can. But if you want a couple of live streams in this book or a little tutorial on something specific, let me know. We have a mirrored image here that has lots of larger flowers, but also lots of smaller ones as well, and a couple of little what would you call these? The little glowing glow bugs. Is that what you call them? Fireflies. Maybe they could be fireflies and you could do a little bit of a glow around them. Again, with that same size and format. I don't know what it is about it. I just really, really like it. And this as well. So they're kind of contained, but there are little elements just peeking out of the edge of the border, which is really nice. It makes it look a little bit more dynamic like that than just flat and contained. But yes, lots of different floral motifs for you to get stuck in and colour when you've got a spare half an hour. Really, really like this page. It's not the first time Johanna's drawn fruits and things in her books, but I really like this one because I think that you could make, potentially, some of these look quite hyper-realistic. This apple, for instance, I was thinking of something like this that I'm going to put on the screen now. I think that's easily achievable within this because it's not too small to do. And, you know, I think that you could make these look really, really nice. If, you know, of course, I don't have the skill to do it, but if you've got the skill and if you've got the inclination. But yeah, I do like this page. Different fruits all collected. I think I'm going to have to find out what some of these fruits are. Are these lychees? I don't even know what a lychee is, but that's just popped into my head. Then we have the Sunday, which is what Suzanne Berry coloured with the black stripe behind it that inspired my black stripe. And yeah, lovely, lovely, lovely. Can imagine, well, I don't have to imagine, Suzanne's already coloured it and it looks incredible. But I'm really excited to see how people would colour the glass, you know, with the ice cream and things behind it, all of those layers. Yeah. Then we have a cute tortoise. Again, this is something really, really sweet that I like to see. Some different animals. I think Johanna's done tortoises before, but I really like this one with all the foliage growing out of its back. Some more spherical motifs. And then this kind of, it's like an oval frame. So I feel like something needs to go in the centre of this frame, and maybe those more artistically inclined will draw something to go in the centre there, but equally it will just look as beautiful left alone. But I believe that this is part of 4, let me just check, yep, 4 seasonal motifs. So this one is of course to represent spring with the daffodils and the I was going to say snowbells. It's dewdrops, isn't it? Yeah, snowdrops. This is what I mean about my brain, you see. This live stream is going to be fun. Then we have something that is a little bit more brighter and vibrant for summer. Then we've got fall or autumn, as we call it over here. So everything's starting to get a little bit orange and a little bit, you know, looking a little bit burnt, and when the leaves turn and change colour, incredible. And then obviously winter as well. We've got some holly here. So this one will be really nice. I'd like to see all these 4 together, coloured in the seasonal palettes. Got another couple of birds. These ones have some very fancy plumage. And then we've got some little tiny emblems, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 emblems on a page. Different things, butterflies. We've got a koi carp fish. We've got what looks like a hummingbird, I think. Yeah, and when I first saw this page, it really reminded me of a postage stamp. So can you imagine how beautiful these would look as little postage stamps on your Christmas cards or your mail? And it might be an idea. I was going to say it might be an idea to make them into stamps by drawing edges on them, but I think some of these do overlap each other. So it might not be possible, but yeah, really, really nice. We've got some little villagers here. So this looks like part of all of one house, which is just crazy. You can imagine how many staircases and levels and things there would be here. This is like a little barn with lots of neighbouring, maybe shops. I don't know. And this one down here, we've got a couple of neighbours next door to one another. Are they having a feud or are they happy neighbours? Don't know how you'd display that in your colouring, but just this is the way my brain works. We've got 6 different emblems on this page, different types of flowers, and 16 little motifs here, including a hot air balloon, remembered this time. Cute little cup with a starfish on it. That is really nice. We've got a little mushroom jar and a birdhouse and a little tiny snail. Now this one reminds me of Ivy and the Inky Butterfly from Johanna. So we've got 2 dragons. So she has drawn dragons before. And we've got 2 very funky floral dragons here for you to colour. Again, facing different directions. I like how that's weaved throughout the book. We have some geometrical designs here, which is not something we've seen too often from Johanna. I think in Worlds of Wonder, a lot of the floating islands had geometrical bases to the island, and yeah, that was really cool. But these are simple, very sharp geometric shapes, which you wouldn't necessarily see in Johanna's work. She's very curved and what would you say, soft, her illustrations, rather than having harsh edges. So again, something different that I really, really like. More spherical motifs. And again, on the other side, these ones seem to be, or at least this one is, and this one, kind of underwater themed. And then we have one final illustration of a big floating island with a sleeping narwhal underneath, and of course a key. What does that key unlock? There are quite a few different keys in Johanna's books, and sometimes it's explained what they're for and sometimes not. So again, beautiful, lovely illustration to end the book on. So here is our end motif that you can also colour, and of course a colouring palette test page. So you can use both sides of this. As you can see, I practiced mine for the carp illustration that we did, the koi carp. And again, all polychromos, so if anybody wants to know and you can't read my awful writing, you can ask me what combos I used. And this was me testing a Tombow for the black back stripe. And you can see that there was no bleed through, just as there wasn't on the actual illustration itself on the back of that. So no bleed through or anything. So Tombow markers should be fine. Just keep an eye on your layers, how much water you're putting down, you know, how much wet media you're putting down. So we have little thumbnails of all of her previous books. Just look at that back catalogue. She must be incredibly, I mean, Secret Garden and Enchanted Forest aren't on this. So, I mean, there's even more. But imagine this being a back catalogue. How proud would you be of yourself, just having created so many incredible pieces of art? There we are. It's been a long kind of rambly review, but I hope you've enjoyed it and I hope you've learned something about the book. And I'd love to know what you think of it. Leave me your comments below. Let me know. There will be a link in the description for this book on Amazon, so you can go ahead and get your copy now if you don't already have it. Don't forget about our live stream on the 18th of November, and I'll see you then. Thank you for watching.